CCP's third plenum to play the reform card, Li Qiang sidelined? 14 senior officials and experts in CCP's oil system die, 11 were party members. China's fake gold fraud case verdict, multiple trusts duped for 25 billion yuan. Bribery of 1.1 billion yuan, another former Huarong executive sentenced to death. Chinese police claim one of the lowest crime rates in the world, mocked by citizens. It's all covered in today's China Truths. CCP's third plenum to play the reform card, Li Qiang sidelined? On May 23, CCP's Xinhua news agency reported that Xi Jinping presided over a symposium with enterprises and experts in Jinan, Shandong province that afternoon, extensively discussing further comprehensive deepening of reform. Two deputy directors of the Central Committee for Deepening Reform, Wang Huning and Kai Qi, attended the meeting, but the first-ranking deputy, Li Qiang, was absent. On May 27, current affairs commentator Li Lini told the Epoch Times that Li Qiang, the first-ranking deputy of the Central Commission for Deepening Reform, did not attend the so-called Deepening Reform meeting. Li Qiang was in Hunan for research that day. It seems Xi Jinping's deepening reform does not require Li Qiang. Li Qiang, formerly Xi's trusted aide, has seen his power repeatedly weaken since becoming prime minister. At the CCP's two sessions in March 2024, the long-standing tradition of the prime minister's press conference, which has lasted for more than 30 years, was cancelled, sparking external speculation. The National People's Congress also passed the first revision of the organization law of the State Council in more than 40 years, adding maintaining the authority of the central government and centralized and unified leadership as the highest political principle. Overseas public opinion generally believes that this revision dwarfs the functions of the State Council and the Prime Minister. On March 27, The Economist analyzed the rise and fall of China's economic management team, suggesting that the current Prime Minister, Li Qiang, might step down in 2027 when he turns 68. Li Qiang was born in 1959. On April 30, the CCP Politburo meeting announced the third plenary session to be held in July. The meeting unusually praised reform and opening up. On May 23, Xi Jinping presided over this symposium with entrepreneurs and experts during his inspection in Shandong, which is seen as a prelude to the third plenary session. The most notable participant at the meeting was the economist Zhou Qiren, known as a reformist, who was one of the 9 speaking experts. However, at this reform symposium in Shandong, she explicitly stated, no matter how reforms are carried out, the comprehensive leadership of the party and other fundamental things must never be shaken. Xi Jinping has always been considered to follow Mao Zedong's path, effectively reversing decades of reform and opening up. Su Ziyun, director of the Strategy and Resources Institute of the Taiwan National Defense and Security Research Institute, told the Epoch Times on April 30 that Xi Jinping has made a strategic economic error. He reintroduced reform and opening up at the Politburo meeting, but this so-called reform and opening up is merely political rhetoric. Current actions by the CCP's national security departments are scaring away foreign investment. 14 senior officials and experts in CCP's oil system die, 11 were party members. For more than 4 years, the CCP has been covering up the epidemic. The Epoch Times collected and sorted out the information released by the CCP authorities on the intensive deaths of cadres and celebrities in various fields such as the party, government, military, police, scientific research, education, and literature and art. It was found that most of them were members of the CCP. Since 2024, at least 4 senior officials and executives, 4 academicians, and 6 professors in the CCP's oil system have died from illness within less than half a year, of whom at least 11 were CCP members. This includes senior academician of the Chinese Academy of Sciences and Refining Engineering Technology expert Chen Zhengwu, academician of the Academy of Engineering and petroleum geologist Jin Qinghuan, former deputy general manager of PetroChina Ren Chuanjun, and Zhao Xiping, deputy secretary of the Party Committee of the China Petroleum and Chemical Industry Federation, who was only 62 years old. The Epoch Times solemn statement on the Quit CCP website pointed out, the end of the Communist Party is near. However, this evil party has committed heinous crimes against sentient beings and gods throughout history, and the gods will definitely settle the score with this demon. If one day, the gods instruct someone to settle the score with the Communist Party, they will not spare those so-called staunch evil party members. Under the CCP's long-term brainwashing of atheism, many Chinese people do not believe in retribution for good and evil. But for members of the CCP organization and those who ideologically identify with the CCP, the gods will take their lives in various ways, including disease and pandemics. Since the new outbreak of COVID-19 in China in December 2022, CCP members, officials, experts, scholars, and celebrities in various fields who have supported the CCP have died in large numbers. Numerous pieces of evidence show that the epidemic is still prevalent in China, causing a large number of deaths. China's fake gold fraud case verdict: multiple trusts duped for 25 billion yuan. On Tuesday, May 28, the Intermediate People's Court of Wuhan, Hubei Province, announced the verdict for the high-profile Jinhuang jewelry fake gold fraud case. 18 defendants, including Jia Jihong, were sentenced to life imprisonment for multiple crimes. Jinhuang Jewelry, one of China's largest gold jewelry manufacturers, had pledged over 100 tons of fake gold to secure financing from more than a dozen financial institutions. Jia Jihong, the founder of Jinhuang Jewelry, received a life sentence, forfeiture of all personal assets, and lifelong deprivation of political rights. Other defendants were sentenced to prison terms ranging from 3 years and 2 months to 12 years, along with corresponding fines. The companies involved, Jinhuang Jewelry, Wuhan Jinhuang Industrial Group, and Hefei Boyan Investment Consulting, were fined accordingly. Jinhuang Jewelry was established in 2002 and listed on Nasdaq in 2010. It was known for integrating R&D, design, production, and wholesale of gold jewelry. In January 2018, Jia Jihong and his controlled Jinhuang Industrial acquired control of Sanhuang Group and its listed company Shangyang Bearing for 6.998 billion yuan, or around $970 million, primarily using funds obtained through fake gold pledges. The total financing amount exceeded 25 billion yuan, approximately $3.45 billion. 2 years later, multiple trust companies, including Minxing Trust, Dongwon Trust, Anqing Trust, and Chang'an Trust, faced defaults. On May 16, 2020, 1 month before the maturity of the trust plan, Minxing Trust tested gold bars pledged by Jinhuang Industrial and discovered they were fake, surface gold plated with copper alloy cores instead of pure gold. The revelation led to the exposure of Jinhuang's massive fraud. An indictment revealed that Jinhuang Industrial had 105.77 tons of fake gold, defrauding 15 financial institutions of 25.345 billion yuan, about $3.5 billion. After the exposure of the fake gold fraud case, an Epoch Times reporter interviewed a red third generation who had inadvertently become deeply involved in the case. He disclosed that Jia Jihong, the boss of Jinhuang Jewelry, was just a scapegoat. The real truth of the mysterious case was the theft of hundreds of billions of gold from the bank vault. The real mastermind had swapped the real gold from the Wuhan bank vault and used extensive black and white forces to transport the gold to Hong Kong. The gold was eventually distributed to buyers outside mainland China by Hong Kong's Underworld and CCP underground forces. The whistleblower, Yi Chiwei, had a grandfather who was a retired senior cadre in the Central Guard Bureau, and his father, a former banking executive, died in prison in 2016 due to Xi Jinping's anti-corruption campaign. According to Yi Chiwei's account, after his family's decline in 2016, he leveraged his proficiency in 6 languages and deep understanding of the CCP's business operation model to provide behind-the-scenes money and power transactions for the second-generation officials, rich second-generation, and wealthy businessmen in mainland China. This included helping them evade taxes, transfer funds, obtain third passport identities, and list companies on IPOs. Minxing Trust and its backer, Tycoon Lu Qiang, suffered the most significant losses, amounting to over 4 billion yuan, about $550 million. The scandal triggered the collapse of Oceanwide Holdings' commercial empire. bribery of 1.1 billion yuan, another former Huarong executive sentenced to death. On May 28, the Tianjin Second Intermediate People's Court sentenced Bai Tianhui, former general manager of China Huarong International Holdings, to death for bribery and confiscated all his personal assets. Bai Tianhui was accused of accepting bribes exceeding 1.1 billion renminbi, approximately $153 million, while holding various positions, including director, deputy general manager, and general manager of Huarong International from 2014 to 2018. Bai Tianhui was arrested by Tianjin prosecutors in January 2019, along with the former chairman of Huarong Real Estate Company, Limited, Wang Pinghua, former deputy general manager of Huarong International, Guo Jintong, and former deputy general manager of Huarong Qiang Real Estate Company, Limited, Zhao Zichuan. Caixin previously reported that Wang Pinghua, Bai Tianhui, and Guo Jintong were investigated in early June 2018. The three were involved in transactions and interests related to Huarong and Hong Kong's capital market. Huarong International had multiple interactions with the Tomorrow Group through several shell companies in Hong Kong. Bai Tianhui was the main operator of these capital operations for Huarong International in Hong Kong. Bai Tianhui's case is closely related to Li Xiaomin's case. In January 2021, Li Xiaomin was sentenced to death by the Tianjin Second Intermediate People's Court for bribery amounting to 1.788 billion yuan, about $250 million, and had all his personal assets confiscated. The court noted that despite Bai Tianhui's significant contributions in revealing the major criminal activities of others and providing critical clues for solving other cases, his actions were verified as true and demonstrated significant merits. However, considering the facts, nature, circumstances, and societal harm of his bribery crimes, it was insufficient to mitigate his punishment. Speculation arose about whom Bai Tianhui had implicated. Independent commentator Kai Shinkuan disclosed on the X platform, another Huarong executive, Bai Tianhui, has been sentenced to death. Like Li Xiaomin, he had significant meritorious performance, confessing to critical matters he should not have. Li Xiaomin's backing was the Zheng family, and many profitable projects of Zheng Qinghuai's daughter, Zheng Baobao, were facilitated by Huarong. The main evidence against Bai Tianhui was his role in Hong Kong, where he served as Director of Business Development, General Manager, Managing Director of Investment Banking, Capital Operations Director, Assistant to the General Manager, Director, Deputy General Manager, and General Manager of Huarong, Hong Kong, International Holdings. During this period, Huarong transferred a large amount of high-quality assets at low prices to Zheng Baobao's Fantasia Holdings. Li Xiaomin and Bai Tianhui thought that revealing the Zheng family's involvement would earn them significant merit and spare them from death, but they met their end even quicker. Many X-platform users commented, "The more you say, the heavier the sentence and the quicker the end. Following the Communist Party in doing evil leads to no good end." Huarong International Holdings Limited is one of China's largest bad debt management companies, involved in investment, lending, and real estate, with the Ministry of Finance as the main shareholder. Chinese police claim one of the lowest crime rates in the world, mocked by citizens. According to a report from China News, at a press conference on May 27, a spokesperson from the Ministry of Public Security stated that in 2023, the number of criminal cases and security cases handled by public security agencies nationwide had decreased by 12.9% and 9.7%, respectively, compared to 2019. Serious violent criminal cases, including explosions and homicides, had decreased by 10.7%, with the homicide rate being 0.46 per 100,000 people. The spokesperson claimed, China has one of the lowest homicide rates, fewest gun and explosion cases, and lowest criminal rates in the world. These claims by Chinese police were met with disdain by netizens. Some netizens pointedly remarked, "The key is statistics. If you don't count them, they don't exist." Recognized by whom? Only recognized by the police? Others questioned, "Wake up, China is not safe at night." Another said, "So many people go missing, and parents have to pick up their kids from school. Today alone, we have incidents of children killing children, teachers' wives killing children, and lawyers being killed over land disputes. On Platform X, a user named Resistor Times questioned, Ministry of Public Security, what are China's rankings for tea drinking rate, forced meetings with police, disappearance rate, stability maintenance by SWAT teams, and the number of malicious injury incidents? While gun violence may be low, what about car and knife violence? The user pointed out that many criminal cases in China, especially those involving sensitive issues, might be concealed or underreported. The user also highlighted that China's rule of law and human rights situation has been criticized by the international community, including issues like arbitrary detention, torture, and forced disappearances, which affect the comprehensive understanding of actual crime rates. This indicates the government's harsh methods in dealing with social issues. China's statistics often lack transparency, and the controlled information channels make it difficult for outsiders to verify the authenticity of the data. Zhong Jinhua, a Chinese legal expert now living in New York, who once worked at the Intermediate People's Court in Wenzhou, Zhejiang, and later as a lawyer in Shanghai, told Radio Free Asia in April that the specific numbers released by Chinese judicial authorities are hard to believe is true. This is because Chinese government agencies often publish figures based on the needs of their superiors. In short, Zhong believes that juvenile and adult crime rates in China are only increasing. He stated that a society's crime rate is related to government governance and the standard of living. If a society becomes more chaotic and people's living standards deteriorate, the crime rate will correspondingly increase. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.